Hi everybody, we're back again. Okay, so we have two session blocks remaining for the finale of our DigitalEd Conference this week. So this is the first part, and we have a fantastic collection of showcases coming through under this area of, again, looking at student engagement and supports, looking at e-portfolios and UDL. So we will have 6 presentations in this section of the conference this afternoon. And just to, I won't be coming up individually for each one, so I won't, because we need to run through. There is a slide break, as we say, that comes through, or an introduction piece that comes through on the broadcasting side. So just to give you a quick introduction, we have Colin Tierney, who's up first. Colin Tierney is a UDL coordinator with us here in Galway Mayo campuses, and he's also working with our colleagues in the ATU and with us in Teaching and Learning Office. So great to have you, Colin.
Thank you.
Then we're going to have up next, we're going to have Debbie Corcoran, Dr. Debbie Corcoran, who's from the School of Science and Computing, and looking forward to, again, another UDL story to share with us. And then next up, after that, we're going to have Kevin Cunningham. Kevin was here. He's here. Yes. Kevin is here. Kevin is one of our learning designers, learning technologists in the Teaching and Learning Office. And again, talking about UDL and assistive technologies and all of that. So that's going to be a great one. And then looking at the next one, we have Liam Morris, colleague from the School of Engineering. Again, looking at the UDL lens, allowing engineering students to choose a presentation style. Okay, and then next up we have from ATU Connemara, we have Dr. Kate Dunn, and we have Dr. Anne Foley here with us as well. And I know Pauline is not with us today, but you're going to fly the flag for everyone. And we're going to be looking at a teaching and learning case study, building sustainable UDL practices with Anne and Kate. And then finally, we will have, I turned the page, we have one of our own digital champions. We've met earlier this week when he was catching a lobster for us and we were all eating it. Ulrich from the Galway International Hotel School, and he is talking about transforming our virtual learning environment in the context of UDL. So looking forward to that. So quite a lot to get through, so I'm going to hand over to Colin.
Great.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. A very easy and inclusive tool to use called the Who's in Class form. So Meg really set us up for this conversation talking about embedding student supports within your course. And so this is a really quick, easy, and research-based way to do it. So this tool is what it does. Here's what it does. It creates community within your classroom. It builds a sense of belonging amongst the students, and it also gives lecturers practical and concrete changes in practice to help improve the accessibility of their course. So 2 things. So first of all, who is in your class? And so this is a distribution of 3 key demographic areas at our 3 campuses here at ATU. You can see, pretty large percentages of students with disabilities, and that number is almost definitely under what it should be, because many students do not disclose their disabilities. Mature students and students from lower SES households. So quite a large percentage in each of these, and these are not, the only students to keep in mind, obviously, but these are 3 groups that are often marginalized in our classrooms. So why does this matter? So talking about students with disabilities, many students choose not to disclose their disabilities for one reason or another, whether it be, fear of stigma. Meg touched on this a little bit too. And students report that there isn't a great opportunity to talk to their lecturers about their disability. I think it came up in Cormac's discussion earlier today. He didn't know a student had, a difficulty hearing. For example, it doesn't necessarily always come up, and students may not say it. Students with non-apparent disabilities statistically have much higher dropout rate and tend to underperform academically. And mature students and students from lower SES households have many factors, that we all know of: family commitments, job, travel, insufficient support within the university as significant barriers. And this is all the data from the HEA. And then, again, keep talking about you, Meg. Your presentation was great. I'm talking about students with mental health issues and all sorts of other students that need support. You don't need to fit in one of these three categories I'm discussing to require support or want to, inform your lecturers on what's going on. So again, talking about why it matters. So we're not always aware of how what kind of atmosphere or environment we have in our classrooms. We all do our best and we have the best intentions, but we're not, there's always things we don't know. An abundance of research indicates that students who have a sense of belonging demonstrate higher academic achievement, engagement, and rates of retention. So these are two of my favorite quotes from some educational psychologists. And the first one says, when teachers view students' experiences as an asset and intentionally bring student voices into the classroom, they create a safe and engaging atmosphere for learning to take place. Students from groups that experience discrimination face particular challenges and feeling confident that their efforts will produce positive outcomes. So teachers can reduce student self-doubt and bolster confidence by showing that they value students. And so just here, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but this is something you just touched on, just asking. Students really, it makes a big difference, right? You heard my voice, you care about me, I belong here. Another one said, because students' academic performance depends on their subjective interpretations, so how they feel within the classroom, how they feel about the subject, really importantly, what they think the lecturers or their students think about them. Schools should be more effective when they support students' social relationships in academic contexts and foster a culture of connection between students' academic knowledge and their sense of agency and self-relevancy. So just building belonging within the classroom, it's really important. And it's not the hardest thing to do. So the Who's in Class forum, this is a forum that was developed at Lafayette University in Pennsylvania not long ago in 2020. It's it's research-based tool that aims to better foster inclusivity early on in the course, which is really key. You want to know, early on, of course. Create plans for inclusion and implement inclusive teaching practices. It allows students to provide information to their lecturers before the class begins. Again, that's really key because I've heard many times today about lecturers finding things out throughout their course, which would have been really useful to know at the beginning of the course to design, just small changes, but they make a big difference. Question topics include access to technology. Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have a laptop? What are you using to access this information? What are your family and job obligations? Do you have a disability? Or, is there anything you need to know about accommodations? Other demographic information and stuff that I really just like to ask is how do you feel about this course? Are you afraid of it? Are you happy, excited about it? What's your favorite part of this? What do you know about it already? And then one question too I'd love to ask is, what do you want me to do? How can I be the best lecturer that I can be, in your opinion? I think it really helps create a conversation. So responses are voluntary, super important. They're voluntary. They're aggregated, so no students are singled out if they don't want to be, and they're anonymous. Although you can put in your name if you'd like to be singled out, you can. So this is an example. This is what the form looks like. It's a series of yes or no questions, really. I mean, it's very straightforward. And the researchers said that you can customize it to however you want. It's just a survey, and we can use Microsoft Forms to make it. But this is the one that they used. This is just the first, couple sections here. So the study that I looked at, I'm going to present some research on this. Was done just at the beginning and throughout the first wave of the pandemic. 2 liberal arts colleges in the U.S., 10 instructors, and 20 courses total. 416 students and all staff set aside 10 minutes on the first day of class to do this. So they made sure that they set aside time. That's really important too, because if you just tell students to do a survey on their own time, they're not going to do it, or they're less likely to do it. So you actually have to set aside time for this, and they did. Once they got the survey results back, they worked with members of their teaching and learning office to create an action plan, and how to make their course more accessible based on what they found. And then at the end of the course, 290 students completed a feedback survey. So just, I don't have much time. What the students say, it's overwhelmingly positive. 80% recommend this, that other lecturers do this. 90% felt comfortable And 81% said this was a great way for them to share information that they wouldn't normally have gotten the chance to do otherwise, right? Some students are really strong advocates for themselves, and that's great, but they don't have to be. I mean, you should be able to share things in your own way. And so this is what they, on the right side, yeah, this is some direct quotes. In comparison to other courses, right, where we did not do this survey, Professor Blank seemed to be more aware of different identities and student experiences that could impact people's online learning ability this semester. Next person says, I went into the semester feeling heard and felt more comfortable going into office hours. This allowed the instructor to know me more personally than numerically. I'm going to go through these kind of quick. I'm running a little bit behind, but bear with me. So there's some more quotes. I mean, they're all really, really positive. As you can imagine, this made me feel more included and represented in the classroom. I was a valued participant despite the issues with the pandemic, right? This forum really helped me do that. This allowed my professor to really get to know me. Just things like that. I mean, these are the type of responses you get. Super, super positive and inclusive. The next slide is going to show you what the lecturers say. So again, overwhelmingly positive. 93% would recommend this to other lecturers. Would implement this again. 86%. 79% said it helped me modify and make instruction more inclusive. And then this 93% said it was a helpful way for an instructor to become more aware of diversity, equity, and inclusion concerns relative to teaching their course. I'm going to skip this quote for now. There's some really good ones on the next slide that I want to get to. But this one was like I had a 0% D, F, or withdraw rate, which is great as a result. But these two quotes really stood out to me from lecturers, and I wanted to emphasize these. The first one on the left says, overall, I got the feeling that just by implementing this questionnaire, my students knew that I cared about them as people. Recognized that each was different and valuable to the class, and took my job of working with them to support their learning as important. Moreover, through its use, I learned attributes and characteristics of students in my class that I would not have otherwise known. It's like really obvious, but it's incredibly important. Next one says, the forum was critical in helping me to build my classroom community. Right? That's something we all strive to do. Getting it done is more difficult. And this forum can do that. Students felt their differences were celebrated and appreciated, and I was able to see individuals as whole students, helped to minimize perceived and real learning barriers, affirm their abilities, and encourage them to challenge themselves. I was able to tailor my course to the particular cohort in the room that made all the difference both face-to-face and online. So here's a list. There's the research indicated like 5 areas where lecturers changed their instruction. Whether it was not assuming students had prior knowledge or like highlighting diversity in the field, and then even practical things like eliminating costly things. Am I done? Yeah, I'm done. Sorry. Again, well, so if you want this to, here we go. If you want to create one of these forums, ask me. We have an Ask Me Anything link on our teaching and learning page. So please go ahead and do that. All right, thank you guys so much. Where's the blinking light?